We're going to talk about precision vision, the ability to lead with clarity, consistency, and unwavering focus. And the reason I put those in there with precision vision is more often than not, what I find is that when I was putting the book together, leaders that I talked with, as well as leaders and visionaries that I researched, they don't necessarily have all three of these principles in place. Many of them have clarity and consistency, but they don't necessarily focus that well. And others may have unwavering focus and clarity, but they may not have consistency. So we're going to talk about all three. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about, this is in the vision section, chapter 1, and it's precision vision. So I put this as 12 steps to leading with unwavering focus. And I always find, and the feedback that I get from you is that, hey, that step process that you put together really helps me to define where I need to improve. So again, this would be off the vision, which is chapter number 1. It's called Precision Vision, 12 Steps to Leading with Unwavering Focus, and it draws directly from the pages of the Visionary Leader. So we're taking a little bit deeper dive into how visionary leaders use focused vision to cut through distractions. Now, we're all distracted, right? And it could be a big distraction, small distraction. But what I find is how you keep that vision and focus doesn't really matter. You've got a process to how you do it, how you keep consistently setting the vision and also ensuring that you stay on the path consistently to achieving your goals. So this is a focused vision that cuts through those distractions, aligns your team, and build brands that innovate. Not just innovate, but you innovate with purpose and perform with precision. So again, we're digging deep into how visionary leaders use focused vision to cut through distractions, align their teams, build brands that innovate with purpose, and perform with precision. Now, that's a mouthful and a lot to achieve, but I wanted to kind of talk through these points so you can kind of see really when I do these evaluations with brands. And this is through Liquid Mind, a brand strategy firm that I have here in Southern Cal. And we talk about all of these points. Now, many leaders say, hey, I don't have all of these points, but the point is, if I could reference this, is take a look at where you have strengths when I talk through these, meaning that where do you have these as a strength and where do you have these as a weakness and where do you need to improve? Everybody needs to improve. Even Visionary Brands, my first book, The Visionary Brand, I talk about the principles of becoming a visionary brand. And in The Visionary Leader, I talk about the principles and the makeup, the DNA of visionary leaders. So when you look at these principles, I find it valuable to go through 12. You may not have all 12, but it's aspirational goals. And it's an inspiration that you get from other visionaries that have achieved this status that you can follow. Fortunately, I profile 19 different visionaries in the book through 16 different traits and principles. So when we talk about vision, one of the questions I get is, okay, well, what is precision vision when we talk about this? And visionary leaders, when you look at them, and when I profile them, when I talk about them with Liquid Mind, current visionaries, past visionaries, they don't chase fads. And the reason that I say that is because you'll find many visionaries that are one-hit wonders. And they're not visionary because they've had a one-hit wonder. They're visionaries because they're generational. They're legendary. They leave a legacy that others can follow. They build what's called foundations. Foundations that others can continue to live in. Think of it as foundational pillars of your house, your home, whatever it may be. This is what builds brands, builds companies, builds services, whatever it is. It's a foundational principle that these visionaries have. So they don't chase fads. They build foundations. So precision vision is about identifying critical few tasks that align with your purpose and ignoring the noise. And I know that's difficult. And when I mention noise, people will ask, well, what is noise? You've just become so accustomed on your day-to-day and what you do that you don't even recognize your distraction. And when you look at, let's just say a great example of a distraction is email. Number one, when your brain gets distracted for even a couple minutes, on average, it takes you an hour to get back into the groove again. So you've effectively lost an hour and 3 minutes looking at email for 3 minutes. And another distraction, which many times I get it, is unavoidable. But when you have interruptions throughout the day, people come into your office unexpected, that's something that you have to deal with as an interruption. And ignoring the noise is, which of those two is more important and what's your purpose behind having these distractions? You have to differentiate between the two. And I would say between the two, the value of an employee, a team member, somebody coming in and asking you a critical question that allows you to execute better, execute your strategic vision better, is time better spent from a distraction standpoint than continually looking at your email and being distracted. And just a quick point that I put in the book as well is these distractions. I find that when you time block these distractions, it works better for leaders, meaning that you set aside time. There's never been any email that I've been around or people that have had emails, and I put this question up on the board when I talk to leaders. Has there been any email that you've had over the last year that has required you to return that email within a couple hours? And 99% of the time, the leaders will say no. Then I said, why do you get distracted? Time block. So when they ignore the noise and they have a purpose and clarity of vision, this is what allows them to execute their vision. So where others drift, visionary leaders stay anchored to their long-term direction as a company and as a brand, so their team doesn't lose passion and focus around what you're looking to achieve. So even when storms hit, which they will, it's not a matter of if, but when. They say there's 3 stages to your life. You're either waiting on a storm, in a storm, or having been in a storm. So it doesn't matter what stage you're in, you're eventually going to be in a storm. So when others drift, visionary leaders stay anchored to their long-term direction, meaning that, again, I go back to the previous podcast where I talk about the switchback leadership, which is you can pivot, but never lose sight of your direction and focus as to what your end goal is. You always need to maintain focus as to what your destination is. So even when storms hit, their focus remains fixed, not on today's turbulence, but on tomorrow's destination. That's where you need to keep your focus. All visionaries have this trait. All visionaries keep this precision vision, and they ignore the noise. They lead with purpose, and they never lose sight of their destination. They understand the full health, and I say health of the brand at all levels. They don't just focus on one functional group. They understand the health of the brand is every piece of the brand, whether it's accounting, operations, production, design, product, whatever it happens to be, revenue, people, environment, and the intangible side of the brand, culture, mindset, internal energy, passion. They lead from insight, not just instinct. So